Almost 2 decades later, the records still stand. 1,808, most yards by a rookie. 248, most yards in a playoff game. 2,105, most yards in a season by any back in NFL history.
Eric Dickerson was the most feared man in the National Football League. Whenever you played him, he seemed unstoppable.
It's hard to find a back like me. I mean, it really, and that's not like being boastful. It's hard to find a big, fast back.
A record 7 consecutive seasons with more than 1,200 yards. 4 NFL rushing titles. Well, the sheer volume of Dickerson's career numbers mandated Hall of Fame induction.
First of all, I would like to thank God for my gift.
It is just as certain that he remains an outsider, always on the fringe in any discussion of the NFL's greatest running backs. The most dynamic back of his era, and arguably the most explosive back of any era, Dickerson has not inspired transcendent memories in the collective consciousness. Not in the way Emmitt Smith has, or Barry Sanders, and certainly not in the way that Walter Payton has.
I've never really gotten the credit that I think I really do as a football player, which, for different reasons, I never even got it after 2,000-yard season. I never got it at that point.
And a brand new single-season rushing record for the outstanding star from Southern Methodist.
Eric Dickerson, to me, was I put him right there in the caliber of football player that Walter Payton was. And I think the reason why his name is so seldom mentioned when you talk about great backs is because of some of the controversial things that happened during the time that he played.
Controversy, as much as talent, was a constant. Holdouts in Los Angeles provoked his trade to the Colts. In Indianapolis, 3 brilliant seasons were followed by talk of disillusionment and retirement. There always seemed to be a cloud of rebellious distractions surrounding Dickerson. He was seen as chronically unhappy. A year with the Raiders, then a forgettable 4 games with Atlanta brought his career to a close. Once a prodigy, he finished as a journeyman. His mystifying combination of power and grace had receded far into the background, replaced by disaffection and discontent.
I think a lot of people viewed him as a kind of a disgruntled, unhappy, selfish kind of player, and that shades their view of him as an athlete.
Whether it was deserved or not, that Eric had the label of a malcontent and someone who was not a team player.
First of all, you can never set the record straight. Things have changed now. I mean, when I played, things were a lot different. And sometimes, along with change, you have casualties, And I was a semi-casualty of war. I have to explain myself to everyone because I don't. I'm a grown man. My actions were my actions. Some were wrong and some were right. And I don't regret that at all. For me, I think people will look and say, God, he was 6'3", 225, and he ran a 4.3 40, Man, God, that was just amazing.
Less than a decade after his retirement, the memory strains to recall Eric Dickerson at his best. The upright running style, the long, graceful strides, the deceptive wave of elegance. Perhaps that is the biggest shame of all.
Dickerson up the middle, cut to the 10, he's at the 5.